everyone, and welcome to Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube tonight, so get your comments in. Any questions, we'll do our best to answer them. Just depends what the question is. But we have a full lineup tonight. First of all, a man who may disappear during this podcast, possibly. Scott Carney, your missus is days away from dropping.
Days, mate. Yes, literally days. We are very, very close to the official due date that we were quoted. So that is why you are hosting tonight, mate, because at any point I might need to go. I'm out of here, lads. But yes, no, good to be here. Good to have us all here. It seems like a wee while since it has been all of us. And I know it's been a wee bit windy today, and I was thinking to myself, that's probably not wind. I think that's the backdraft of a certain Celtic fan flapping as he tries to save his career. But yes, an absolute pleasure to be here, gentlemen.
And we have Scott Gemmell as well. We thought you disappeared, Scotia. You're back. Scotland are back. So you must be a happy man now, eh? Steve Clark all the way.
Oh, but maybe we wouldn't go that far, Pierce. We wouldn't go that far, but yes, Scotland put me through the ringer the past couple of weeks. So that's the season officially over for me, totally now. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I've been, as you said, disappeared for a wee bit. I've been trying to sort of stay off social media for a wee bit and kind of lay low, which has actually been good. Done me the world of good.
Apart for this week, which has been quite good actually, but that's another story. And we have Ryan Haymarch as well. I will say that in case his mum gives us into trouble. He is sporting a wee glow. I don't know if any of the listeners knew. Ryan was in Turkey. He was in a scouting mission for us to find out the home, away, third top and signings. Ryan, report back. How did you get on?
The mission went well. Mission is complete. Ali, I've spotted a striker for us. I also was at the kit launch at the Turkish markets, and I don't want to let the rabbit out of the hat. However, Borna Barisic, I don't know if you'll see him again. I had a few discussions with Traps and Sport when I was over there, so managed to get rid of him as well.
Yeah, and I saw a couple of good videos, Ryan. I just hope you weren't caught up like a certain person this week that was caught up in Vegas. I hope you weren't caught up.
No, mate. I'm always behave myself. There's been a few times I've been caught up on a Saturday in the Loudon Tavern and other pubs along Paisley Road West. But yeah, I know. You know what happens if you get caught up. You get caught up. It's one of these things, isn't it? Hey ho.
Yeah, it's a shame for that person we're talking about that they were unfortunately caught up in a stage singing songs they shouldn't have been singing. But it's been absolutely tremendous on Twitter this week about it, so that's been good.
Sorry, Ali, do you not think he was a step away from going, Rangers should have done more?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, you can say who it is. Everyone knows who it is. It's Martin Compston who has this. I'll give him actually a bit of credit first. He actually is a good actor. I actually think he's a decent actor, Compston. Some of the stuff he's in is decent. However, he paints himself as this, I don't know, golden child, and he's a mouthpiece for the SNP, and he does all these. He was in the Socrates. He's in these videos, and he's been caught. He's a very, very silly boy, and but the usual from that side of the city, they don't put their hands up and say, "Look, sorry, I got this terribly wrong." It's no, it wasn't me. Yeah. I don't know if any rest of you have anything to say about it, but
somebody forced the microphone into my hand. Look, it's just, I think the reason that we're even bringing it up and talking about it, it's, Ryan summed it up perfectly. It's the selectarianism of this country. Yeah. It really is. If this was anything to do with Rangers, it would be everywhere, absolutely everywhere. You'd have everything crawling out of the woodwork to come out and have a go at it, and this one's just, I will just hope this one goes away. He's a stupid boy. I don't know what he was thinking. Drunk or not, yeah, you're a silly boy for who you are, so he deserves what comes his way.
Yes, to be fair, I mean, he's given us good entertainment this week because it's been quite quiet, so he's gone and done that for us, along with his two cheerleaders with him as well, so that was good. But anyway, lads, we're on to talk about Rangers, and today at 9 o'clock, I messaged you all this morning to say, put your, who do you think we're going to get? Tommy says we're going to get St Mirren at home. I don't know where you got that one from, because we're definitely away. So Tommy needs to, I don't know where he got that from. I don't know if Tommy was in the drink last night or whatever, but that was a bit bizarre. But none of us got it right. Out of the four of us, and Tommy with his home fixture one, none of us got it right. And
to be fair, Ali, I didn't make a guess.
Well, we thought you were gone, Scotia, to be honest.
We did think you were gone, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll come to you first, Ryan. First fixture of the season is on Saturday, the 30th of July, 12 o'clock, live on Sky, and we are away on one of the plastic pitches, which is Livingston. What's your thoughts on that?
I'll take it. I think I always expect us to. I don't know why. I've always got Aberdeen or Kilmarnock in my head for the first game of the season. I always think they're not the best games against those two to play for your first game of the season. So I'm happy to play Livingston. I think we've got a pretty good record up there. Yes, it is a plastic pitch, but it's quite exhausting, that subject of plastic pitches. We've all got to play on them, so you just need to adjust their game. Rangers have got a plastic pitch at Auchenhowie, so I just don't ever use that as an excuse. Rangers just need to go down and get the win, and it's a guessing game. What the lineup's going to be and how we'll be shaping up and who's going to be fit and whatever. But I think it's a good game for us to start off the season with. And I looked at the first 3 or 4 fixtures, and I think I'm not going to say an easy start because that'll come back and slap me in the face. It just looks like if I was to select 4 teams to play at the beginning, then it would be round about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll write them all. Obviously, we play Livingston. We've got back-to-back home games, Kilmarnock, St Johnstone, away to Hibs, usually a tricky game, and at home to Ross County to finish August off. So that's the first 5 games. I was the same as you, Ryan. I thought it was kind to us with the fixtures. Hibs, obviously, is the kind of sticky one in there, but we should be coming out with 5 wins for 5. Scotia, I know you weren't on the group chat this morning. I take it you picked Livingston away as your first game of the season.
No, I would have probably went for like a Hibs away because we normally get a tie.
I went Hibs away. There you go.
Yeah. No, I mean, first game of the season when you're away, it doesn't really bother me because I don't go to away games really, so it wasn't too much a concern. What I was looking at though was you round off those games that we play in August, but they're all kind of sandwiched in between the Champions League qualifiers. So if we get to the playoff round, that's us get 8 games in August. So a game every couple of days, which is great because I'm severely missing the football already at the moment, even though it's only been a few days for me. So no, quite fairly happy with those draws at the start. And then one of the ones I was looking out for as well, I don't know if you'll come on to it, was obviously because Hearts are guaranteed in the Conference League. They'll be playing on Thursdays. So I was looking to see when we would get them, but I think we're lucky that we play them just after we come back from an international break. So, but everyone will be kind of in the same position there.
Yeah. Carney, your thoughts as well. I mean, right after the Livingston game, we play, and I'm pretty sure we play on the Tuesday or the Wednesday in the Champions League qualifiers. So it'll be interesting to see what his team is for the Saturday. But I'd assume you're on the same lines as the rest of us and thought it's quite a kind opening fixture for Rangers.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I hate plastic pitches. I do, but it is just what it is. It seems to be part of Scottish football. And we'll come on to the SPFL and the SFA later on, I'm sure. But I mean, it's not the worst. I did expect Aberdeen away. I thought, watch the game that we seem to always struggle with. Okay, this supercomputer will know the form of Rangers in the past couple of years and put us up to Aberdeen. But yeah, I do think the start of the league's pretty favourable. But I think I'm more look forward to it because obviously you pick out when the old firms are going to be and you look at when they're going to be other big games such as like Aberdeen at home, Aberdeen away. But you have to beat everyone to win the league. You have to beat everyone. You have to play everyone. So it's not really a problem for me. I'm not the biggest fan of 12 o'clock kickoffs as everybody is, but we can immediately put pressure on Celtic by getting 3 points on the Saturday. So I mean, you've got to play everyone, but it's not the worst plastic pitch, but it's no far away from being the worst. I would say Kilmarnock's is definitely the worst, but it is what it is, mate. You've just got to go on, mate. Got to beat everyone, haven't we?
Yeah, I'd rather kick off straight away and. Obviously, we have Celtic playing the Sunday 4:30, I think it is, at home to the Sheep. So they get a nice, easy tie. All jokes aside, but obviously the Celtic games, as expected, the first game obviously is at Parkhead this season, falls on the 3rd of September. I would say on that date, that will not change to the Sunday because the first Champions League games in the group stage is the following week. So regardless, Celtic are in there anyway. So regardless if we are in Champions League, Europa League, it will be on the Saturday. So that's good news for folk that they won't need to take the Monday off of work. And obviously the New Year game is as usual on the 2nd at Ibrox. And the last one is on the 8th of April at Parkhead before the split. So, Scotia, thoughts on that? It's kind of usual, to be honest, with the Old Firm's usual dates.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not play them anytime, to be honest, for me. So it doesn't, I mean, the fixture list coming out, it doesn't really impact me overly much. I don't need to plan too much around it or anything like that. So yeah, just take them when they come. It's always looking to see where they fit in next to European games. Because obviously the last couple of seasons we've had, like Tommy, I think, said in the chat there about we've had Celtic after like a tough European game, mind the UFA game we had a couple of years back. So, that's good that it kind of won't impact in that. Yeah, so when the Old Firm games are, you can usually kind of judge when they're going to be, unless it was last season when Celtic want to move them around to suit their own agenda. But happy enough.
Yeah. I mean, we're told right all the time this supercomputer, whatever it is, and it randomly press a button and it randomises. But we all know when the Celtic games come, it's within a 2-week period of that September. But I was saying to Kat, I was saying in the group chat today, I've booked a holiday. I'm going to Mexico, and I knew it would probably fall around that. But obviously, I knew the game was away. But yeah, I'll be in Mexico for the first Old Firm, which kicks off at 4 a.m. in the morning. So I'll be up for that one. So the Cancun Loyal will be ready to go then. But anything surprise you with that, Ryan? It's just the usual, to be honest.
Aye, it's just the usual, as you say, the supercomputer that generates these fixtures randomly, has randomly spread out the Old Firm games as it always does. Put the Old Firm games in the order they expected it to go in, made sure there's no back-to-back harder away fixtures for Celtic or Rangers. Yes, it's supercomputer my boys, basically. These fixtures are selected for TV and TV alone. So there was no surprises. But what I did notice was, obviously due to this World Cup, Scotia will be able to confirm this. Usually the first weekend in September is international weekend. I believe that's usually the international weekend, so that's actually Old Firm. So that will be a bit strange, a bit different. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing them. I'm glad it's quite early on, because I always think if we can get a bit of momentum and then go and play them, then you're putting yourself in such a good footing for the rest of the season. So I'm hoping that is how it materialises for us this season.
Yeah, Carney, you happy enough with the fixtures? I always think, wouldn't it be great to just start the opening game of the season with an Old Firm, just out with a bang right away? Because I think that would be outstanding.
Yeah, I know. I understand how the supercomputer thing works, right? Okay, there is certain things that get put in that maybe there's certain dates get put in, and there's certain things that happen within cities and etc. that all has to happen, and Hibs and Hearts can't be the same. All very stuff that I'm not particularly bothered about, but I just think it's amazing that every new year there's an Old Firm. Literally every single new year there is an Old Firm. It's amazing how that happens. But no, I mean, there's it kind of is what it is. Generally, it is what it is. I think every Old Firm's going to be crucial. We always knew the first one was going to be away this season, and the worst one out of all of them, and as I say, you've got it up on the screen, was Dingwall away. See, for the travelling support
Christmas
going
Eve.
up and Christmas Eve. I mean, come on, man! Like that's going to be a task and a half. Christmas might be messy for some people. That's all I will say, because that's a hell of a journey to make. But that is what it is. Generally, it is. You've got to get on with it. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It's got me missing Rangers even more now. I think now that I've seen the fixtures and who we're going to play, and looking at days when I'm thinking what could possibly be a 3 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, that depends on European situation. I'm really looking forward to it now. It's time to go, but it's not yet. It's still a while to go.
Yeah, I mean, Scotia, it's going to be quite bizarre that we have this, I don't know if you want to call it our winter break really has been kind of pushed to November now, so it's going to be a bit bizarre in terms of. I know you love your international football, and unfortunately, Scotland won't be there.
I'll start crying. I know
you'll get behind the Welsh and you'll support them as your second team, but it's going to be a bit bizarre, that 4-week window where we've got no football between November and our first game back, so home to Hibs on the 17th. So it'll be a wee bit of a weird period, that.
It will be potentially, but I think everyone, even if you don't really like international football that much, you still get into the World Cup when it's on because you've got games every day. So it's not like you're kind of run of the mill during the season international breaks if you're not into international football. Wouldn't think so. It will be strange. I mean, I think it's 16 games we play up until the break. So I was looking at who we got in the fixture list. So out of the first sort of when we play at the 11 other teams, we've probably got the harder set of fixtures, you would say, on paper, because you're away to Celtic, you're away to Hearts, you're away to Aberdeen, and you're away to Hibs. But before the World Cup starts, we've also got Hearts and Aberdeen at home. So up to those 16 games, on balance, you'd probably say that we'll have played the hardest games out of both us and Celtic. So it'll be interesting to see where we're sitting just before then. And correct me if I'm wrong, we've not got any players going to the World Cup, do we? Don't think anyone made it
qualified, did they?
No, I think the Croatia USA qualified. No? USA are there, yeah. So maybe James Sands. Although I did see an article saying that I know the American manager was saying he needs to get more game time if he wants to secure his place in the World Cup squad for America.
Yeah, just need to wait and see. To be honest, we don't know what signings we'll bring in. Probably know we could bring in internationalists that could be away as well, so just need to wait and see. But I mean, Ryan, I had a look at the fixtures before we kind of stopped for that break, and this sticky period, if you want to call it, I would say, is we're obviously away to their ground, then we're away to Pittodrie, at home to Dundee United, and then the first game in October away to Hearts. So I picked that out as a kind of wee sticky area within that kind of run into when we stop.
Yeah, those are the periods that win titles. I always think that. I always look at those fixtures. The past 3 or 4 years, it seems to have came in January, and we've had a kind of December, January. I think it's been as a kind of run, and it always seems to be Aberdeen away is close to the Old Firm game. Whether that's deliberate or not, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. You've got to win these games. But yeah, I'm the same. I look at those periods and think that's where we'll probably win or lose the title. So, but I don't look at any fixture and think, that'll be tricky. Rangers have just got to turn up. If they turn up in these games, they can beat Aberdeen away, Hearts away, Celtic away. No worries, we've seen it before. But yeah, I'd imagine that's the kind of period where Gio have a wee eye on and wanting some sort of form, and he's playing squad. We've obviously suffered a lot of injuries last season, and he'll be looking at that period of time thinking he'll need to utilise his squad to its potential. So hopefully that's where we'll be when those fixtures come around, and we can use the full squad to pick up as many points as we can over that period, Ali.
Yeah, no. And Carney, you're obviously quite happy with the fixtures. I know I just pointed out that kind of wee sticky spell there, but anything kind of stick out to you at all in terms of... I know the only thing I would say is we all want Rangers to get Champions League football, but for the sake of Saturday football, we need to get Champions League football, because if we knocked in that Europa League again, Carney, it's all these games we're talking about will be bumped onto the Sunday, and I just don't like Sunday games.
There could be a lot of shifting things about as well. Sorry if you spoke about this, I got a bit distracted with something. But like Hearts could possibly get into Europe. A lot of these fixtures could get moved about because they're going to be playing on a Sunday and need to play on a Sunday. Yeah. So it's going to be kind of all over the place. And you would imagine Celtic will probably only reach the Europa League at best. So because that's what they tend to do, let's be honest.
So they'll be in Champions League.
They're in
Champions League, yeah.
I forgot about that. Bastard.
Well, they'll cut you there, Carney. You'll be cut in one of their wee videos now saying that.
That's me. Yeah, that's me.
You'll be meltdowns this week, mate.
Sorry, it's good for viewing figures, mate. I'll take it. But no, there's nothing, mate. There's nothing. It's going to be the break's going to be strange. See, in terms of the World Cup, I thought the World Cup was on till like Christmas Eve. Is that why we're going earlier? Because we're not really going to have anybody away.
Oh, Scottish, a man, you asked that.
I can't remember exactly when it finishes, but is it not around about the 17th or 18th of December? The World Cup
I just thought it was later. Mate. Maybe that's because of the way the English Premier League are doing it. I think they take a break till till Christmas Eve.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's where I got confused with that. So no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. It will be strange to see. I say I don't think it depends who we sign. I don't know if we're going to see many of the Rangers players at the World Cup. But it's going to be a real weird one. But again, we still have to deal with this the continuation of this split that we seem to put ourselves through all the time, which is rather frustrating. I don't know why we do it. It's makes our league look tin pot. It's not a good thing for Scottish football, in my opinion. I can't stand it. And just to back up my argument to that, Livingston finished 7th with 49 points. Dundee United finished 4th with 48 points. I mean, you can't make any sort of sense of it. It has to go. It really does have to go. But I'm sure we're going to get stuck into a certain member of Scottish football, I think, next.
Yeah, as what it is, that split. I think we're kind of used to it now. The only fixture I'm going to miss this season, and it's one we all get together every year for it, and it's the Boxing Day fixture because it's usually at Ibrox. Scotia usually comes in a 3-piece suit. He's all dressed up
So
for
he
the
does.
occasion. He does. So I'll be disappointed for that one because the game we've got on the 28th, which is Motherwell. In fact, I know it's at home, the Motherwell game, Scotia, so you might be able to dust it off for the 28th, possibly, and just pretend it's Boxing Day. But apart from
it's
that,
Boxing Day every day during that week.
Well, there you go. We'll let you off. We'll let you wear the 3-piece in. But overall, I was quite happy with the fixtures, to be honest. So we just need to wait and see when it comes. It'll come fast enough. But we'll move on to the next part, which we'll just quickly discuss. The Cinch deal. Ryan, I'll come to you. It's come back out this week that after all the palaver of last season, let's break it down. Basically, what in the SPFL's rule book, if there's a conflict of interest, they need to make members aware, get around a table, and they say, look, this is the sponsor we've got, and usually come to an arrangement. The SPFL last season went ahead with a deal without even consulting Rangers about which they knew was a conflict of interest. They've wasted, I don't know how much money last season on a court case about Rangers when Rangers were on the right. Rangers won, obviously, and this week it's come out to basically say that Rangers don't need to show Cinch on their tops, whatever it is, when they're doing advertising. When we win the league at the end of the season as well, you won't have to show that as well. So it's made the SPFL look a bit stupid. And that man, Doncaster, that picks up $400,000 a year before bonuses, even stupider.
Yeah, I think he earns almost 3 times the salary of the Prime Minister, but that's another idiot, but we can speak about that in another pod. I think your words were going to be made the SPFL a laughingstock. It's already a laughingstock, Ali. We didn't have a sponsor. The league didn't have a sponsor, I'm pretty sure, until I don't know, it's halfway through or late on. We actually started the season without a sponsor last year, which is beyond amateur. Any of the Ayrshire leagues down here, or any of the leagues I know, have all got a sponsor. How we started without a sponsor, I don't know. How that guy, Doncaster, is still in a job, I don't know. It's another example of, I could speak about this all night, I could get really bitter about it, but I'll try not to. Scottish football hating itself to death. Anything to do with Rangers, it's just, let's make sure they don't get it. Let's make sure Rangers don't get that. Rangers can't be right. Rangers are obviously trying to gain an advantage, and they just constantly hate themselves to death, and it's nothing to do with Rangers' point of view or Rangers what they were trying to do last season. It's just because it comes from the south side of Glasgow, and it's got a blue tint on the letter. That's all they're interested in, and as soon as we propose anything, it's no, and nobody wants to listen to Rangers, and it's just they've made an absolute pig's ear of it again. They just look stupid, but Rangers have come out of this with their dignity again, and I don't think you'll get the last of this. I think Douglas Park his nose is out of joint with this, to say the least.
Carney, I mean, it's it's laughable, to be honest, that this is in their rule book. I mean, come on, they come up with the rule, but they've not even come out and acknowledged, apologised to Rangers and saying you were right all along, to be honest, because and they won't, because they're better and they're ran by most of that SPFL are ran by a certain football club. Are you surprised? No.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm annoyed by it. If I'm going to be honest, I'll try and not go kind of full rant as well about it, because I'm the same as Ryan. I could talk about this all night. The whole Cinch deal as a whole was an embarrassment to Scottish football. It is nowhere near enough. They've undersold this game for years now, and I don't know what it's going to take for the rest of the clubs in Scotland to come together to stop this. As far as I'm aware, again, hearing this from heart and hand, that the Rangers have tried to put a vote of no confidence forward and nobody seems to back them. It's as if people were just happy with this. I can't get my head around it. Honestly, I can't. Doncaster gets more than a team winning the Scottish Cup. Like, what? I mean, it generally doesn't make any sort of sense at all. Their statement was laughable because they came out and made it out like it was they'd done the right thing, and Rangers are, in a roundabout way, they got to saying that Rangers were actually right and they were wrong. No apology, of course, so we just have to suffer like they can continue on with the, Ryan says it perfectly, the Scottish football hating themselves to death. It's horrific. It really is horrific. Doncaster is not fit for purpose. I've said this a million times. SPFL not fit for purpose. We are selling this game short up here, and it's going to continue to go on until something is done about it. Again, without repeating myself, something has to be done about this, because it's going to continue to get worse and worse, and we're going to just need to deal with it. I know you could probably come on to it. Park's response was superb, generally absolutely excellent. He has to say that, but we're up against it because the rest of the teams in Scotland just seem to want to hide behind Rangers in the nicest possible way and let us be the cannon fodder, if you like. Look, and I think Park's more than up for doing it. I think he's more than up for standing up to this, and he rightly should. We all know what this association is run by in Scotland. It's for one team and for one team alone, and he is doing the right thing. For far too long, Rangers sat there and didn't say anything, but this is an absolute embarrassment for Scottish football. It is for your premier club in your country to not have anything to do with the sponsorship that you had to get a marketing team in to get for your league, and it wouldn't be anywhere near the stadium. I mean, it's pathetic. It really is absolutely pathetic. Something has to be done. It has to be done. I think I worked out the other night. I think every team gets something like £600,000 if you were to work it all out equally. I mean, it's just for a year, for a team for a year, and Doncaster's on 400 grand. It's baffling. It really is baffling. So, no, it's an absolute joke. Rangers were right, and get it up you, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Scotia, the guys have summed up pretty well, to be honest. If you get anything to add to it at all.
I mean, Rangers were vindicated. Cinch are sitting there rubbing their hands with joy because now everyone in Scotland knows who they are. Whereas before, when they came in, I had no idea who they were. And the SPFL are sitting there with egg in their face. And that's what the main issue comes down to, really. It's the SPFL and them being a bunch of muppets, really. And what worries me as well is that the Scottish Women's Premier League, they've now joined the SPFL for next season as well. So they've gone up from 42 teams to, 16 in the SWPL as well. So there's more teams in it involved now as well. And one of them is our women's team, which I'm not overly happy about. I mean, the SPFL are just a shambles, and they have been for some time. When this get made, it was supposed to be take us forward, but it's just continually getting worse with them. And yeah, I mean, moving forward, what we do, I know, Carney, you were talking there about the resolutions and stuff, but I do think that there is a small amount of windy change slowly getting there, because I think we done a vote of no confidence a year or two ago, and there was maybe only one other club that was with us. Then we done one last year, and it kind of jumped up a wee bit. And I think there's an awful lot of the chairman, particularly like Aberdeen and Hibs and Dundee United, where the American owners have come in, that these American businessmen are looking at it going, what's going on here? Because the MLS just agreed a 1 billion, 1 billion pound deal with the Scottish Women's Premier League. And that was supposed to be taken I mean, obviously MLS has got a massive TV audience compared to the SPFL, but they agreed a deal with Amazon Prime, where basically all games for season ticket holders are free to watch on Amazon Prime. Games locally are free to, are able to stream it and sort of pay some money towards it. And games that aren't actually on like your main broadcasters like Sky or BT Sports or Premier Sports, if you want to class them in that bracket, that they'll be looking at that and going, surely there's something that we can do. Maybe, obviously not with Amazon Prime because we've not got that big a pool, but there's surely something out there that we could look into to do something like this that just increases the coverage of Scottish football. But like you say, it's the SPFL and Scottish football in general continually shooting itself in the foot and holding itself back.
Oh, good point, Scotia. You should get yourself in that SPFL board and put a few of their points across them, see if they'll listen to you.
They'd love me.
He's going to be on the Italian VAR? Is that what he is? Is that what he applied for?
Oh, he's learning Italian. He's learning Italian. He's going to have his hands all the time. Anyway, lads. Before we go on to the next part, just a word from our sponsors. Summer is here. The sun is shining. Shirts are off, and your friends at Manscaped are here to make sure your beach balls are as smooth as Floridian sun. Dive head first into summer by joining the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for summer by going to manscaped.com and use code CLUB22 for 20% off and free shipping. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to prepare that summer bod. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver, and Crop Reviver, which is Scotia's favourite. Manscaped has also just launched their new Boxers 2.0, and all of us in the pod can agree they're possibly the best boxers out there, which I do agree they are very good, to be honest. Also, take a look at Manscaped Shears 2.0 and a package that has everything you will need to look pristine: nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors. With a performance package, your balls will be ready and press, but make sure you cover the rest with the Shears 2.0 and you'll be ready from head to toe. Also, Father's Day, which is this Sunday, I think, is just around the corner. So, ladies, get your man's dad bod a gift that will have you both thinking Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping using the code 22 at manscaped.com. This is the summer to turn your package into a full package with Manscaped. What will your balls do, Ryan?
They will thank you.
Thank you again to Manscaped for the continued support. Like we say, the boxers are really good, to be honest. But yeah, go and check them out and use our code for 20% off and free shipping. Right.
Ali,
it's not easy, is it, mate? It's not easy to do that. It's not.
That's quite a long spiel.
Did Carney send that over to you to read out?
Yeah.
Carney, what you should have done is slipped in like some random wee passage because he would have read it out.
I thought about it. I thought I could put something in the middle of this and he would, because he's not going to read it before he actually reads it out. Like, so I was thinking of, genuinely, mate, I thought about it. I was like, well, I was at work. I was like, I should put something in the middle of this. Yeah. But no, I thought I'll let him off because it's hard enough as it is to read it out.
Yeah.
Well done, Alistair.
So that is a long spiel. I can't wait for Scotia and Ryan to give that one a go. So, that is long. So moving on swiftly from that to something that I noticed this week, which I thought was of interest, because obviously we're student ticket holders as we go every week. It says the catering deal. Rangers have now left the catering deal with Elior, I think it's called, to sign up with, I think it's Levy UK, they're called. I don't know if it's Levi or Levy UK is a new deal. The last one was part of the Charles Green agreement, which is a way back. So I did see we would have all got an email this week. Myers, 24th of June, 3 p.m. 20 people are going along for a tasting. So I'll come back to you, Scotia. The catering at Ibrox, we've said it for God knows how long. It is woeful. Now we have a new catering partner now. What are you expecting? Don't say Michelin star food.
No, definitely not. I'm hoping it gets better because you're right. It has been pretty poor. I mean, I'm obviously in the club deck most of the time. Well, pretty much all sort of normal season games I'm in the club deck. So that's the one that I'm exposed to the most. I've been in the Govan front and occasionally the last few years, but I've not been in the Broomlin or Copeland for 10 years plus, I would imagine. So I don't know what the catering situations are like in those areas, but the club deck and the Govan, they're no great. If you're being honest, the selection of food on offer is pretty poor. I will give them some credit that occasionally some of their pies can be okay. I'd go that far, but it's okay, and then the price that you're paying, because you're over £5 for like a pie and a bovril, which to me is far too much. So, in all honesty, with this new company coming in, I'm hoping the quality of the food can go up a bit. The variety of food can go up a bit. Because, like you say, I'm not expecting squid pies. Yes, that'll be great. A wee calamari.
Well done, curry muncher. That's a good one. Sorry, Scotia.
Yes. No, that's okay. That threw me as well, the squid pies. Yeah, but that happens, but I don't expect the prices to change, because invariably when the price goes up, it very rarely comes back down. So I imagine we'll be sticking around about the same price mark. I've applied to go on that wee tasting session next week, so hopefully.
Don't sell drink, Scotia. It's just food.
Oh well, I need to drive anyway, because the trains are all buggered on that Friday. So don't you worry. But I know Jamie went to a wee tasting session earlier in the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
he said it was brilliant. What he said the stuff that he went to try was really good. I can't remember who he said it was with though. That's why Jamie Lowe should be on this podcast. We should start. I agree with that campaign, Ryan, that you started, mate. We should, but Jamie would be able to tell us that. But I know he went on a tasting and he said some of the food was really good. Sorry, Ali, carry on.
Yeah. No, Ryan. I mean, we've all been to grounds in other parts of the world, and you go in and you see there what they've got, and it's like a different world. You'd think we were stuck back in the 1920s or something, but it's a positive move for Rangers. I mean, I reckon it'll be probably quite similar to what we've been used to. The quality might be better. There might be slightly more variety, but I'm not expecting mind-blowing things. I know we're kind of been bled with Black Rooster, and you could say, because you don't have wee Black Roosters on the stadium or whatever, but it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. But I'm not expecting major things.
I'm hoping it is, Ali, because I don't see the point in changing it if it's not quite...
Yeah.
If the changes aren't quite vast, because we know that menu at Ibrox is from the Dark Ages. The quality of the food is from the Dark Ages. It's like, I mean, I would rather they were dishing out pot noodles. That it's really, really bad. I would like to see them just have a bit of variety, a bit like get not ahead of the times, but bring the food into the times, because a pie, a burger, a hot dog, people want. I know some people won't get chips because people throw them. Ask for chips, see if you can get chips on the menu, see if you can get pizza on the menu, see if you can get wraps on the menu. Just stuff like that is easy to make and will make the club money, because all I see is fans going to these, the outlets outside the ground.
Yeah.
And I even do it if it's a European game, me and my dad are eating before the game. I think to myself, right, where are we going for something to eat before we go to Ibrox, because the food is so bad. The only time I bought a pie, I think, at Ibrox last season is when I can't even remember being in the ground, but I went and bought my dad a pie, and he can't eat pies because he's no teeth. So that tells you condition I was in. But it's so bad. But yes, you're right, it's a positive change. I always criticise the club for not caring about the fans, but this is a positive change. They've obviously been listening to shareholders or whatever and other feedback that they've got, because the hospitality is horrendous and it had to change. So I am going to be optimistic about it, and I am going to have hopes of vast changes on that menu, Ali.
Yeah, Carney, I mean, I don't know the last time we had something. The only time you really probably get a pie in Ibrox is probably when you're absolutely starving and just would eat in, to be honest. But what's your thoughts on the new catering deal? And it just shows you that although the old era in terms of Charles Green and all that still linger in the background in terms of deals they'd signed.
It can't get worse. That's the way I look at it, that it can't possibly get worse, surely. I mean, that was purely based on they were the cheapest bidder, so you take them when Charles Green signed that up, and the food was poor. I mean, I remember when I was younger, even going to the games, the pies at Ibrox were actually all right. They weren't too bad. They used to be decent enough. My dad and me, when we used to go early when I was a kid, when we would go earlier into the games, we would always get like a pie. My dad would always get a pie and a bovril. I'd get a pie and a juice, and so the stuff must have been all right, and that's like kind of back then. But it's got to be a step forward. I'm the same. I don't expect fucking world cuisine food like that you've ever, but it's just something that's palatable. I mean, some of the pies you were getting in recent times, you were kind of dicing with death, and you're trying to having them. There's just no chance. I don't think I actually bought anything out of the catering at Ibrox this season. I can't remember buying anything there. I would always just grab something outside quickly. Instead of eating in the stadium, and that's not the way it should be. It really shouldn't be like that. I agree. I would like to think Rangers would do something with Black Rooster. I mean, how hard can it be to get pre-made wraps made up that you need to be kept warm for Black Rooster? I mean, it can't be too difficult, and I think that would be a really good thing. I mean, you see some of these stadiums down south and that they've got like subways and whatever else in them and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction for Rangers. It's a good thing. It can only make things better. We've said for ages that the match day experience needs to improve, and that included the catering. So we've finally got out a contract that we were kind of stuck in, and now we can hopefully see vast improvements and of the technology and stuff as well. Like, not even everywhere in the stadium has like card readers and that now. In a kind of post-COVID world, you kind of need to be having card readers and that. People don't really carry cash anymore. It's not a very done thing. So no, it's a good thing. Hopefully we do, as I say, we do see vast improvements, and I'll stick by that it can't get worse, man.
Yeah, no, it like I say, it's a positive. So we'll just need to wait till next season and see what happens.
Scotch or steak pie, Ali?
Steak pie.
Me too, steak pie. Ryan?
Steak pie, but if you give me a buttered roll, I want a Scotch pie.
Oh, aye, definitely, mate. Pie on a roll, can't beat that. Scotia?
At the football, a Scotch pie.
Oh. Do you drink Bovril? I don't drink Bovril. It's not my thing.
I don't mind. Yeah. Don't mind it in a cold winter's night at Ibrox when it's absolutely Baltic.
Do you not just cuddle Scotia when it's cold at Ibrox? Is that not what you do?
Sometimes I use his hair as a scarf. Aye.
Oh.
No, we'll keep that out of this because that's mine and Scotia's own thing. So we'll keep that away for the podcast. But yeah, no, it's a positive thing, and obviously we've got Edmonton House hopefully getting finished. I don't know if it won't be this year. I don't think, probably next year. So we've got that to add to the experience going to Ibrox as well. So that should be good. But we've also got a couple of friendlies announced as well. Obviously, we're going to be to Portugal for a week to 10 days, whatever it is. And we're going to be playing Sunderland over there on the 9th of July, which is a Saturday, 8 p.m. kickoff. It's live on Premier Sports. I don't think we'll get much from that game, to be honest. It's the first game back. We'll get to see Ross Stewart, who we've been linked with heavily. And then obviously the big one that we've all been emailed about this week, Ryan, is Tottenham, 23rd, Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff, £21 for adults, £16 for concessions. I thought it was reasonable, to be honest, for Tottenham coming up. That should be a good test for Rangers the week before we kick off against Livingston.
Yeah, I think it's it'll be a great fixture for us. I'm hoping to see. I want to see Kane and Son. I'm a huge fan of Son. I think he's a fantastic player. So I would like to see him at Ibrox at some point featuring. I think the prices, as you say, are really fair. I'm sure somebody might correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think it's a £5 for kids, which to see a Premier League team is brilliant. So I don't see any reason for Ibrox not to be full for that, because if there's a lot of people don't like going to friendlies, I'm not a huge fan of it. But I'm hoping there's a lot of kids at that game just to get to see Tottenham and players like Son and Kane. But yeah, I think it'll be a good test for us, especially. What's the date, Ali? Sorry, 26th?
23rd, the week before 23rd. We kick off.
Yeah, that's ideal. That's ideal preparation for a big week for us, because we'll be league game, Champions League game, is it? Or league game, Champions League, is it?
We
Champions
kick off
League first.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Yep.
We kick off. No, we kick off. We kick off against Scotia. Used to stay in the background there. We kick off against
16th, 17th.
What are you on
No,
about, Scotia?
That's not.
It's August. It's August, isn't it? Aye.
It's August. Oh, what are you talking about, man?
Does that count as a blooper for next season?
Aye, yes.
Probably will.
No, it has to be. Yeah, I'll mark that down. I'll note that down. Hang on.
Get that noted down. That's Scotia's first of the season. That's good. I just think it's a good. I like when we play a Premier League team. There's a bit of a challenge because you always see a bit of quality. If you remember when we played Burnley a few years ago, they kind of took us apart. So
yeah,
I just think it gets the team sharp and prevents them the challenge they need going into the season. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean Scotia, it's a big. I'd expect Ibrox could be a full house for this one. The reason obviously you get the CCs, and I usually used to not tick the home friendly game is because they used to shut the club deck and they would just give you a ticket anywhere on the ground. They would just allocate somebody random. So I used to not tick it so I could kind of pick where I wanted to be in the ground. But they've emailed through that to have your seat available so that the whole ground is open for this game. And I think it could be near enough a full house for that game.
Yeah, I think so. It reminds me back to the game we played against Chelsea. I had a fairly decent crowd there when Big Sebo scored back in the day. Yeah, so I think it should be quite a good day. It's obviously price is decent. It's a wee bit under what we paid for the Real Madrid game. And you've got to remember when we came back from the Real Madrid game, that was really our only second, maybe third game back after COVID, or folk being allowed in the stadium. So yeah, I'm like you, that I don't normally tick the CCCS for friendly games. But I did last season because it was obviously only limited crowds getting in for those first few friendlies, which I was lucky enough to get tickets for. But yeah, it's one of these ones that I've been looking at. And when I did see the price come in, first of all, at 21 quid, I was like, oh, that's a bit steep. But then I was like, no, actually, it's not. That's in keeping with what we usually get. So no, that seems decent enough for me. And it should be a good wee day because I won't be going to Albufeira, I tell you.
Yeah, we've been to Portugal once, Scotia. Well, we probably never know. We might go back again, but no, Carney. The week before we kick off in the league against Tottenham, good test. Like I say, I think it'll be a full house, reasonable price as well, and yeah, I think it'll be a good day out. Hopefully, the weather's decent as well, and we'll have a full house.
Yeah, hope so, mate. Yeah, it'd be good. Be good to see. I'm the same. I'm a massive fan of Son. I think he's a fantastic player. And yeah, obviously Harry Kane as well is the other one. It'll be a good test for us. Like friendlies are always hard to read into. They really are. The chops and changes so much. But the Real Madrid game was a really good experience. I thought that was great. Obviously, that was just at the start of everybody kind of getting back in. I sat in where did I sit for the Real Madrid game? The Govan stand, I think I was sitting. For the Real
we're
Madrid
all together.
Game. Oh, so we were. That's right. So you did. No, you didn't. COVID police were about. No, you didn't. You stayed in your own seats and you're socially distanced. But no, I'm looking forward to it. As I say, I wasn't too sure about whether I would go or not, but I think there's quite a few people that are looking to go and maybe make a bit of a day of it, hopefully. So yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. As I say, it's a good team to be inviting to Ibrox just before we kick off. And when does the Premier League kick off? Scotia, you'll know that surely. Week after us.
He's frantically Googling right now.
No, I've not looked at any of the Premier League stuff.
Have you literally just been sleeping for like a week? You're usually like a book of knowledge, usually, mate. And tonight, you're thinking the Champions League kicks off halfway through July.
No, to be honest, I've kind of fallen away from the Premier League over the last season and a half or so.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. As I say, I'm looking forward to it. It would have been really good to go to Tottenham Stadium because that's a fantastic stadium. It generally is. It'd have been great to do that. But no, I'm looking forward to it, mate. And that'll be you'll be ready at that point. We'll all be champing at the bit to get right back to competitive football. Yeah,
looking forward to it. CGM 55. Don't you worry. We are just about to move on to transfer speculation. So the obvious one I'll cut with this. There's a couple of them, but I think we kind of talked about Ross Stewart in the last kind of pod. But the one that's been doing the rounds at the moment is Eric Botham, I think that's how you say it. He was playing in the Russian league with Krasnodar, I think it was. But he ripped his contract up. Used to play for Bodo Glimt the season before, scored 15 goals in 30 appearances. 22 years of age. Carney, for the sounds of it, YouTube video, which makes everyone look amazing. Ticks all the boxes, to be honest. He's been touted quite a lot of teams at the moment looking at him. So what's your thoughts on this boy?
Yeah, the YouTube video does make everybody look good. I remember watching Herrera's YouTube video and thinking, "Oh gosh, it looks a bit of a player, this guy." But no, I think it's the correct calibre of player for Rangers to be linked with. A guy that looks really promising, a guy that could probably develop with us, with European football, with the kind of the way Ibrox is, the way Rangers is expected. You're expected to win every game, so it would be a really good thing for him and for his development. I say, I won't lie that I know much about him. I've looked into him a wee bit. There does seem to be a wee bit of hype around him, which again might price us out of it. But again, I think I was speaking to my cousin actually about this kind of thing. Is we have to be attracting now. We always talk about, and the club always talks about taking it to the next level and going to the next level. We got to the Europa League final. We should be attracting players. Maybe, I'm not saying big players from like teams like Dortmund or anything like that, but teams that were in that competition, we should be attracting really exciting prospects from them to come and want to sign for us and want to play for us, because everybody's seen now Ibrox. Everybody knows what Ibrox like and what it's like to play football there when we're winning massive European games. So it's a really attractive thing for, I would say, any young aspiring footballer to come play with us. Obviously, I'm slightly biased because I'm a Rangers fan, but this is the type of players that we should be trying to get and trying to attract. And it's no disrespect to players like Ross Stewart or anything, but for me, it just doesn't really excite me. And it's not because he's not a foreign player or anything, but it's just a bit flat with this kind of player. And obviously, the YouTube video is probably not helping me, because I say, because I'm probably thinking, "Wow, it's great," but you got to read into that as little as you can. But you understand what I mean, that we should be attracting players from these kind of clubs that want to come and play and want to progress. And at the end of the day, we all know what we are. We're a stepping stone to the English Premier League. If you perform up here, there's every chance you'll get a move to a team, or even a bigger European team in the scale of money, not in terms of stature. But no, it's an exciting one, mate. But again, I always take it all with a pinch of salt, because until he's got a scarf above his head, then he's not a Rangers player.
Yeah, Scotia, I mean, Carney's a good point. We were European finalists last season, knocked out some big teams in the way to get there. So we must be an attractive team to come to for these players, especially, I mean, this boy's 22 years of age, like Carney says. You hate saying it because to us, Rangers are the biggest team in the world, but let's be realistic about it. We are a stepping stone to the 5 major leagues, and why wouldn't he come to Rangers in European football, score a lot of goals, win trophies, and he could move on?
Right, before I answer your question, Carney, the YouTube video you're talking about that you were amazed by, I'm assuming you're talking about his music video with Haaland.
Oh, I've seen that. No, I've seen that as well. Yeah, you made a rap video brilliant. Or something in it.
Yeah, if anyone's not seen it, if you go and search up Flow Kings, and that's Kings with a Z on YouTube, there'll be a video.
Don't tell Ryan Kent that. We've already got one rapper, Ryan Kent does that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a video of him back when he was on the under-18 Norwegian squad with him, Haaland, and some other lad rapping away. It's quite something. But no, on to your point about attracting players. Yes, Rangers should be. I think maybe the only disadvantage is that, and this goes sort of down to us selling players as well, is that we've not really got a proven track record yet of sort of, certainly from this sort of era of player in these last 4 or 5 years, of a player getting sold from Rangers, going down south and going on to big things. I don't know how much consideration a player would take in that, but we must be an attractive proposition because we were playing good football in Europe last season as well. So teams will be looking at that going like, I want that. And then as well, the fans, from watching some of the videos from Ibrox last season, players must look at that and go, I want a wee piece of that. So you'd like to think it helps. And yeah, this is certainly the type of player that when I seen we were linked to him, I was like, no, he looks good, as you say. Had a pretty decent season and a half. Was it season and a half? I think he was at Bodo Glimt. With he scored 4 goals in the Conference League in the group stages, and obviously was sold in the January then to that Russian club before they ended up playing Celtic. But no, he looks impressive, and certainly the type of player that I'd be interested in. Obviously, no transfer fee associated with him, but the problem you've got is there'll be hundreds of clubs across Europe going after him now. And what I would say as well, though, is there'll probably be quite a few players in a similar situation that they'll have decided, or they'll be in the process of deciding whether or not to tear up their contracts with any Russian clubs due to their, obviously, what's happening out there and their lack of involvement in Europe and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, a lot of folk on social media at the moment are getting a wee bit upset that Rangers haven't signed anyone yet. But I mean, we're only days into the transfer window. It runs and runs and runs, and you know how it works. It's a domino effect to sometimes. So a lot of guys have just come off international football. As of last week, they're on their holidays, so I think some folk need to calm down. But I mean, I'll come to you on him, and I also want to ask you, Ryan, because you went on the pod last week because you were sunning yourself in Turkey, but Ross Stewart as well. I would like your thoughts on him, whether it's a yes or a no for you. But first on Eric Botham, and then give me your thoughts on Ross Stewart.
I think I totally agree with you in terms of people need to calm down. We're such a money support, and I get to a stage sometimes. I think Rangers put these names out and put these links out just to appease that element of our support. I mean, Ross Wilson got criticised last season for not landing Joey Veerman. Who says that Rangers were in for Joey Veerman apart from a couple of Facebook pages or whatever? Rangers go about their transfer business very quietly, very privately, and they have done for a couple of years now, and it's the way I like it. Yes, it's frustrating how quiet things are, but we will be working in the background. We will have identified players. Van Bronckhorst will have a list the length of your arm of players that he wants to land, and if he doesn't land this one, he wants that one. Things will happen, and I think we just need to, as a support, chill out a bit. This Botham guy, is it Botham you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
I've never heard of him. It's another Joey Veerman for me. Apparently he's a superstar. I don't know. If Rangers are in for him, great. We'll see how he gets on with my blue shirt on, but I just sit and wait for things to happen. So a bit like Carney, I'll wait until somebody's at Ibrox with a scarf above their head, and then I'll jump on YouTube to find out how great they are. Ross Stewart, I know for a fact Rangers were watching him last season, along with another team from Glasgow. I don't know how far they took their interest, but I know Rangers were definitely watching him for a large chunk of last season. So I've never seen him before. I'll be honest, I've never watched. I've seen Sunderland a bit, but I never actually noticed him on the pitch. But I don't know, it's another one of those ones, Ali. You're just a bit of hearsay, isn't it? Like, he's obviously played up here before and he did well with Sunderland, and the only thing that would put me off that is that I would imagine we'd have to pay a couple of million for him. I wouldn't be prepared to do that.
He's only got he's got a year left in his contract, I think, Ross Stewart.
Right.
I don't know. It's somebody in the group chat there said Sunderland would want 8 million for him, no chance.
Rangers took is fishing for a response there. I think
Rangers paid 8 million for Ross Stewart. Oh my god!
No chance, man. No way.
That's what I said last week. Because he's going down south, we've not got a chance of getting him on the cheap anymore.
It kind of reminds me a bit of
behave yourself.
Remember Jordan Rhodes when Jordan Rhodes was banging them in for someone, and it was kind of his valuation went up to like 8 million. And where I don't even know is he Blackburn still?
He's went around a few clubs in that championship. Yeah. I'm
not going to slate the boy and say he's not good enough, because again you see it. Some players just fit some clubs, and the likes of when Chris Boyd came to Rangers, I didn't think he would do well, and he ended up the club's top goal scorer. So if Ross Stewart does come to Ibrox, he's not going to be our main striker. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. He will not be our main striker. He will be Cedric Itten's replacement. That's the way I'll see it. But in terms of speculation, yes, it can be frustrating because it does look like silence, but Rangers will be doing their business in the background, and I expect to see at least 3 or 4 signings this summer, at least.
Yeah, I'm the same. I expect a couple of bigger signings, if you want to say, that will slot in that first team rather than squad players. So interesting to see what happens. But that's us nearly wrapped up an hour there, lads, talking about. I thought there was nothing to talk about with Rangers, but we've done an hour on it. So we've only got 1 week left, which the Rangers players have on holiday, and then they're back for pre-season the week after, so that they'll be back then. So I'd imagine speculation will intensify in the coming weeks in terms of transfers, and we'll be on it, obviously. But yeah, we'll just end it there, lads. I'd like to thank my guest, Scott Carney. You've made it through an hour of podcast, and your missus hasn't dropped yet.
Not yet, mate. No, I heard a bang, but I think it was the takeaway arriving tonight, mate, to be honest. So
what are you getting?
I'm going to a chippy tonight. A chippy tonight. Chippy on a Friday. No, really good. Good. I'm desperate to get back into the full flow of podcasting stuff as well. It'll probably be again. Sorry, Ali, it'll probably be another week because there's not very much happening. But will probably be next Friday again for us. But we'll definitely come back and do something. Just quickly on 22 merch, as you've seen, it's been running along the bottom of the screen. The first orders have arrived today. They'll be getting packed up and posted out tomorrow. Hopefully, if I get them all done tonight. Thank you to everybody for doing so and for making it to the end of this podcast. If you go to 22merch.bigcartel.com and use the code podcast, you'll get 10% off your order, just as a wee thank you for watching us to the end. So I appreciate it all, lads, and everybody have a good weekend.
Yep, Scotia, thanks for your time. We never thought you were going to appear tonight, but here you are, all four of us. Thanks for your time, Scotia.
Yeah, cheers, Ali. It was enjoyable. Again, it's a week's too long sitting, not waiting, talking about Rangers. You just end up scratching yourself, not knowing what to do. So really looking forward to next week. And Carney as well. Every time that you say goodbye, I just wait for the intro music or the outro music to play. So I forgot that he was going to.
Thought you were done, mate.
Aye. So cheers. Yeah, thanks, and I'll speak to you all next week.
And last but not least, Ryan Haymarch. I made sure I got the ch in it there. With the holiday blues, no doubt, Ryan. Just think you were were you in Turkey this time last week? Oh, you were in Turkey this time last week.
Yes.
Aye, just a distant memory now, eh?
Distant memory, mate. Absolutely scunnered. But listen, this was good to get a bit of Rangers chatting because I never spoke to an adult for a week basically when I was on holiday. So I actually did speak to a Turkish guy to market, and he said, what team is he supporting? I was like, Rangers. And he went, oh, Europa League final. And I was like, that's enough, mate. I'm just here for a few shots. I don't want to talk about that. But this has been good, boys. It's got me upbeat, and with the signings, everybody just chill out. Tolerance and sanity. Rangers will sign.
Yeah, I agree. No, I'd like to thank the guys, obviously, and thank everyone in the comments for coming on. I appreciate it, especially when there's not much on with Rangers at the moment. Hopefully, like I say, it'll intensify in the next couple of weeks with the closer we get to kick off in the friendlies. But if you could like and subscribe, we'd appreciate. Our subscribers is growing, which is good. We'd love to get to 3,000 before the season, which should be outstanding for us. Thanks, and we'll be back next Friday with hopefully some more news to bring to you. We have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and we'll see you next week.